I spent 12 years in physics research, from a PhD at Imperial College London to 8 years of postdoctoral research at Oxford University and CERN. And then I walked away. Not because I stopped loving it, but because over time the cost of staying became clearer. In this video, I will share the 3 reasons I left and how I finally got honest with myself about what I needed next. Hi everybody, I'm Andri, a former physics researcher turned data lead and an empowerment coach. I'm also a licensed skydiver, a freedom martial arts instructor, and a mom of 2. On this channel, I share stories and strategies for purpose-driven people navigating big transitions. Today, I'm sharing the 3 reasons I walked away from a 12-year research career and what gave me the clarity to finally do it. I love physics. I think physics is magical. In fact, I think it's one of the most interesting topics one could ever study. Totally unbiased here. I love it because it explains us how was the universe created. It shows us how a rotating magnet can create electricity. And it explains us why the sky is painted pink at sunset. Wow, what is there not to love? Now, regardless of how much I love physics, there were 3 things that I didn't love so much. And I didn't mind leaving behind. By the way, I think these 3 things that I'm going to mention now are not just physics exclusive. I think most STEM topics suffer from this. Starting with gender imbalance. Look at this photo over here. This is a very famous historical photograph from the 1927 Solvay conference in Brussels, Belgium. It's considered one of the most iconic gatherings in the history of physics. Can you find Marie Curie? There she is. Now, what used to be 1 in 30 didn't change that much. Moving fast forward to today, it's closer to 1 in 10. These are photos of mine across the years I've spent in physics with lovely people around me, 1 in 10 or even worse. I never understood this. I never agreed with it. And despite all of the efforts that I myself personally put in shifting this percentage, together with many other physicists who are aligned on the opinion that there should be some much more balance in the STEM subjects between the genders, the needle is moving way too slowly for my taste. So I decided that I wanted a job that has a good gender balance from the bottom to the top across all functions. I believe that's doable. Okay, a second thing I didn't love about physics and didn't mind leaving behind was the work-life balance. Work-life balance? What's that? Now, an issue with working on your passion and your hobby, because working in physics totally feels like you're working on your hobby. It's what you would be maybe doing anyway when you were a kid in your free time. So an issue when working on your passion and hobby is that you are forgetting to check out. There is a very blurred line between the working hours and the non-working hours. It's very common that you pick up the laptop in the middle of the night while your family is sleeping and you reply to emails, or you check if your simulations are being cooked correctly. And although you could say, well, what's the big deal? If you like it, then what's the problem? There are 2 issues here. Number 1, it's not actually that healthy for your mental health, for your physical health. A real life example I can share here is when I was in my last days of pregnancy with my first kid, I would be ready to pop, sitting on a yoga ball at midnight, simulating so that I submit my simulations on the system so that when I wake up in the morning, things would be ready for me to analyze and do research on, and I could look what the results are. In retrospect, not that healthy. Probably I should be resting. Probably I should be taking it a bit easier. And you can maybe say, well, who forces you? Nobody does. Ish. The thing is, if you decide, okay, I'm not gonna do that, I'm gonna just stay on the side, treat it like a 9 to 5, resist the temptation that, my brain, the only thing that my brain wants to think about is obsessed with that topic. And it doesn't matter what you're doing, showering, or if you're with your family, or if you're on a vacation, you're constantly thinking of physics. Let's say somehow magically I managed to resist all that. By treating it as 9 to 5, you are immediately out of competition. You see, everybody around you treats it like a whole day thing, 24/7 almost. I'm exaggerating here slightly, but if you do decide, you know what, I'll just keep it as that block of my day and then go and do something else, you're just admitting you're out of competition, which is also totally fine. It depends what you want. If you do want though to progress, and most of the physicists or researchers, the gold thing that is at the end of the tunnel is a permanent position, which are so rare to be found. If you are interested in getting a permanent position somewhere, then you do need to enter the competition. So you see, it's a catch-22. So if you do want to be part of that competition for that permanent position, then in theory, you do have a choice to treat it as 9 to 5. In practice, you actually don't. So I decided I wanted a job that the norm is to treat it as 9 to 5. The norm is that nobody sends emails over the weekend, that the norm is that nobody contacts you outside working hours. That's it. I believed that is something that can be found. The third thing I didn't love about my beautiful physics passion is the career insecurity it comes with. You see, the permanent contracts are so rare, and in fact, what is not rare is having people around you that are on a postdoc after postdoc after postdoc, usually 2-3 years. And many times those postdocs are even in different places than the ones before. So if you are interested in getting a permanent position, you need to also be prepared that you need to be flexible. And I mean ultra flexible. It means you might be changing not only cities, but countries or even continents. And that's all in the name of physics. In my case, I lived in 6 different cities or countries in my 12-year research. 7 if you also count my bachelor. And then I had the epiphany. What if I don't let a particle accelerator define where and how I live? Once I had that light bulb doing that, I started thinking and I decided there is no harm in having a little sneak peek of maybe what's out there, right? I was honored to be offered twice a permanent contract. The second time I declined was a clear message. It was time for me to check in with my gut that I've been ignoring for a while. By the way, almost not very healthy. That's when I decided to have that sneak peek of what's out there. And fast forward 1 year later, I ended up with me taking the leap into a Fortune 50, where I work as a data lead in analytics. That's a whole story of its own, and I will share what that leap looked like in an upcoming video. Was this process easy? Oh my God, no, it was not. Now, was it worth it? Absolutely. All right, so those were the 3 main reasons I took the leap from physics research after 12 years. 16 if we also count the bachelor, even though I still love the subject. If you're standing at your own career crossroad, torn between what you love and what you need, I hope this gave you something to reflect on. Just keep in mind, this was not a decision I made overnight. It came through a lot of inner work, a lot of reflection, and a lot of honesty with myself. If you're curious about what helped me find that clarity and courage to take the leap, I've shared it all in this video. You can check it out right here. Thanks so much for watching, and hopefully see you in the next one. Bye-bye.